Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing all-wheel drive vehicles that want to run rear-wheel drive or staggered wheel setup on their cars. And most importantly, we're going to be talking about tires, because that's going to be the definite factor that's going to determine if this is possible or not. So should you run a staggered setup on your all-wheel drive car? Sure, it's completely up to you. You just have to make sure your tires are the correct size. We're going to get into that later on in the video. But most important, should you really not run what the car was intended to from the factory by running all four corners exactly the same? That's a question that you should ask yourself. That I know some automakers run staggered setups from the factory. If you look at Mercedes, BMW, a lot of the all-wheel drive cars have staggered setups. You may ask yourself why. Well, they did their homework and got the tire sizes correctly, so they don't have any issues, or the customers don't have any issues. But when it comes to Infiniti, I haven't seen that being the case. If I am incorrect, please comment below. But every single all-wheel drive vehicle that I've seen from Infiniti that has been released to customers in the market has been all four corners have been the same, and you can get away with a rear-wheel drive staggered tire setup by simply getting your tire sizes correct and staying below a 3% threshold on your rotations. So let's get into the video and let's take a step-by-step and discuss some of the valuable points that you need to know if you want to run a staggered setup on your all-wheel drive car. First off, we have tire sizes. Usually your all-wheel drive vehicles are going to come with tire sizes all the way around exactly the same. Now, if you want to run a rear-wheel drive, or I should just say a staggered wheel setup, the wheel size really doesn't matter. Is whatever's touching the ground, which is your tires, has to be the determining factor. In this case, the rolling diameter on these tires setup has to be within a 3% threshold in order for the all-wheel drive to still function, and you don't cause any issues with your transfer case or any of your drivetrain components that you could potentially damage by running improper tire sizes and your car is an all-wheel drive vehicle. So a tool that I like to use is Tire Size Calculator. I'm going to put the link in the description of the video. You guys can check it out. You can compare two different tires and see the specs between both when it comes to rotations, the rev, and most important, the rolling diameter. You guys can actually see the rolling diameter difference between the two tires. And like I said, for Infiniti, they typically like when you stay below 3%. Anything above, you're possibly going to have some issues, some all-wheel drive errors on your dash, that sort of thing that we see often when people don't do their homework. So I'm hoping this video helps a lot of you guys who are maybe new to modding and getting your first set of wheels on your baby though. So let me know if you guys need any help. Comment below in the comments. I'm sure there's other people that can help chime in and that good stuff. So guys, make sure your tires are within a 3% ratio. So rolling diameter, So for those of you who are maybe getting a staggered setup, typically the most common sizes that we see is like a 9 wide inch tire in the front, or maybe a 9.5, and in the rears you see your 10 or 10.5 in the rear. Offsets will vary, of course, depending on the vendor, but most important, most people are going to run like a 245 in the front or a 255 in the front, and in the rear they're going to run a 275 or 285. That's okay to run those. You just need to make sure your sidewall is correct, because if your sidewall is not correct either, it's not going to match up with the rolling diameter that you want. So to give you an example, a perfect example of a rear-wheel drive staggered setup that works on an all-wheel drive, a 245 35 20 and a 275 30 20. That's a perfect setup that will work on all-wheel drive vehicle. It has been proven for Infiniti to work that way for years. But something that will not work, for example, is a 245 30 20 in the front and then a 275 35 20 in the rear. The sidewall difference in the rear to the front, that's going to throw off the rolling diameter completely off, and it's going to give you issues. So that's why I suggest using this tire size calculator as a tool for you guys to use. No, I'm not getting paid to give you guys this website. I'm simply trying to offer you my help in what I've used in the past. So when I actually try to help others, it's by simply using this tool, TireSizeCalculator.com, guys. You can compare both tires and actually get some really good results. You can check all the information regarding your setup and know if it'll work or it won't work. Just know the determining factor for your staggered setups on your all-wheel drive cars is your tires. The sizes need to be 100% correct. Another thing that I always get a question in regards to is, how wide should I go with my wheels? How wide should I go with my tires? Guys, this comes to preference. Me personally, I like a comfortable ride, which is why I recently went to 18s. Nothing was wrong with 19s or 20s. I simply can fit a lot more tires on the 18s, and the ride is so much smoother. Not saying that you should all go with 18s, but that's just my personal preference. Like I said, it's solely going to depend on you. If it were me, personally, anything that is a 19-inch wheel, I would go with a 35 sidewall at the very least. Anything with a 20, I would do a 35 at the very least. And 18s, I would go with at least a 40 on the sidewall. That is completely up to you guys. But in the past, that's what has worked out for me. So let's kind of recap some of the things that we've said. Infiniti, they like to stay between 3% or below rolling diameter. Anything above, you're gonna have all-wheel drive errors, and you're possibly going to hurt your drivetrain, so don't do that. The tire size calculator link is below in the video description. You guys can use this to compare two tire sizes and actually get the results. If you're looking for, for a new set of wheels and you wonder what tires are going to work, well, there you go. That should help out. Now, anything other than that, if you guys have any questions, comment below or feel free to message me on Instagram. And that'll be all for today at this video, guys. So like the video if you liked the video today. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.